What's up, guys? Welcome to the Real Christian Show. My name is Ben Pitch, and I'm your host. Ladies and gentlemen, today's episode, we got a juicy interview. I'm really excited, but before we start, if you're new to the show, we have four formats of the Real Christian Show. We talk about current events, politics, what's happening in the world, and that one's been a blast. I've been doing it with Phil Lyman. He was running for governor here in Utah, and he has a lot of experience in policies, politics, and everything, so we're doing that probably twice a month, so stay tuned for that one. We're going to do another one on Saturday, so tomorrow. Then we talk about kind of like a solo episode about myself, entrepreneurship, business, sales, social media, faith, kind of like just some raw, real talk. It usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes, whatever I feel is in my heart. And then we do interviews. You know, I find cool people that I like their stories, I like their vibes and who they are, and then we just have a funny, cool conversation, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. And then the last thing that we do is Q&As, and then you guys can submit your questions about everything, anything you want, to my personal Instagram, BenjaPB201. Just make sure you don't submit any weird thing. And even if you submit some weird stuff, I'll still answer it. So remember that the main format of how we promote this show, it's word of mouth. You know, I trust in you guys that if you found some value, if it's funny, if it helped you in your life, level up, or if you learned something, share with your friends, post it on Instagram. And, you know, word of mouth is the best marketing in the world. Now, if we suck, don't share it. I'm cool with it. But if you found some value, share with your friends. So anyways, guys, today's episode, we have I'll just say it in Spanish. Eliam Fuentes. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, brother. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. That's a really cool intro.
Hey, dude.
We just of the podcasting.
You just keep it real, bro. Keep it real, simple, and direct, and bold with people. That's how we roll. And well, Liam and I, we met. Well, I haven't even met you. It's probably one time through a phone call, but we have some mutual friends, and you're in California right now,
Yeah,
right?
California, based out here.
Based in California, and you help people with communication, public speaking, which I think is a great skill, and I really want to jump into it because, especially for men and for leadership, if you cannot communicate, first of all, you'll never become a great, effective leader, and second of all, the way of how you make money will be limited. Because everything is sales and everything is communication. You gotta get good at convincing people. So anyway, let's start with that in the end. You know, let's talk about why do you think words and communication is so important, especially as a man in today's society.
As a man in today's society, for like communication, the first thing that comes to mind is like what happened to like the era where we had like MLK, Gandhi, where everybody's speaking their mind and like
we had great communicators. Yeah.
So like that's
True.
what has dawned to me. And you know how like about a year or 2 years ago where like men started speaking up again, like Andrew Tate, a couple other political figures.
Are you a fan of Andrew Tate?
And communicating their vision, their dreams, and they're like, the world is like, no, you can't do that. So it's like,
wait, let me interrupt. Are you a fan of Andrew Tate?
I think.
Like, be honest.
Yeah, when he first started, yeah. But I think over the past year, I've gravitated to like other models of excellence, I'd say.
But okay, you cannot deny that he's a fantastic communicator.
Oh, phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Articulation.
It's insane.
Insane.
Have you seen the podcast with PBD and Andrew Tate in Florida that just came out like a couple weeks ago?
They did another one?
Yeah, dude, it's phenomenal. The level of arguments that this guy has and just how much... Because you got to be good at like responding on the spot and let your thoughts just... come to your brain and just speaking right away instead of like just like being like, I don't know, and kind of like thinking. This dude always has a response for everything. It's just so good.
Yeah, dude, I didn't know that they filmed a new one because it was when he first. I think they released two videos. The one with his.
They've done like three.
The one with his brother and the one with Andrew Tate. Like that's when like it really cemented like the mark for me. Like, all right, this guy has my respect.
He's good.
And anyone who listens to like the short form video versions of Andrew Tate or PBD, I'm like, I don't believe him. I'm like, unless you watch the full long form message and the whole content, then I'll hear you out and I'll have a discussion with you. But like for the people who base their opinions on like the short form stuff, like why?
No, you gotta give context and listen to the full thing. But I mean, starting with that, respect because he's a great communicator. Sorry to cut you off, but I'll be doing that, dude. That's kind of like my way of conversation. So I'm always interrupting.
You're good.
But anyway, you were talking about the importance of communication in past and now. Like we have more communicators in the modern era.
Yeah, especially for men. I would say for like in our age demographic, for like people in their 20s, but both men and women and stuff, is we have transitioned our way of communication through like texting, phone
Yeah.
calls, FaceTime, which are all great. These methods and these mediums are fantastic, but the communication style of like person to person using your words, not emojis, is a whole different feeling. And for me, it feels like it's an art that is slowly that it's lost its art form, and it's like bringing it back, bringing awareness, and that's why it's really important for me.
Well, dude, is like if you just think about it, like I do sales, and in every company that I've been, I'm like the top guy. And that's been one of the biggest skills that God has blessed me with, and I've been able to develop the skill of influencing people
Mm-hmm.
and having conviction in my ideas, and that people trust me, that people open up to me, and that I can tell them something and they're gonna do it. And sales communication, I think is the same thing, is influencing. It's energy. Words carry energy, and how you present yourself, how you speak matters a lot. And I think a lot of guys, like, they speak with no power, with no energy, with no emotion, with no passion. And sadly, we have a bunch of generation in men that there's a bunch of wuss guys out there. There's a bunch of guys that are pretty soft. I don't want to curse. I'm
Yeah,
getting
go ahead.
better at it. So
Uh-huh.
they're pretty soft. We have a generation of men that they're pretty weak. And I think a big part of it is the power of words. The Bible talks about communication in words big time, that in the tongue is life and death itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I like what you did, dude. I think that is something very needed. But let me ask you this: what was something that motivated you, or your desire to help people, men, in these scenarios, we're both guys, to help them do that, to fix that problem? What was the thing that you saw that you were like, dude, I gotta fix this? It's always like you see a problem, you want to fix it. What was the thing
Yeah,
that it
yeah. I see
motivated
where
you to
you're
do
going
it?
with this. Yeah, I see where you're going with this, and catching your drift right here. For communication, you talked about a little bit like that God blessed you with this talent, that this gift, right?
That
And
I had to develop. It wasn't like I was born with it, but I was more inclined to have it. I had to still develop it, but it was a gift for sure.
yeah, for sure. Like he gives you like that raw, natural inability,
Yeah,
but it's still your responsibility to sharpen the sword and
yeah,
continue mastering the craft.
yeah.
So for me, God blessed me with this skill set of public speaking and communication. One, because ever since I was little, since I was 10 years old, I first time I ever publicly spoke was in front of a church, and I didn't even realize that. And all the instances where I publicly spoke after that, like 30 times, I was doing it so subconsciously, like I wasn't even aware that I was doing it. I would just go up there on stage, say my values, say my words, whether it was in college presentations, whether it was business events, real estate events, XYZ. And it really dawned on me, I was like, I don't have a fear of public speaking. And earlier this year, as I was doing research and getting ready to like pivot into going all into public speaking and communication, I just searched up on Google, like, oh, what are the top fears of humans? Because people always tell me, like,
And number one is public speaking.
people tell me public speaking is one of them, and I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And like, I used to be that freaking like, it would come off as cocky, but I used to come off like, for me, it was confident. I used to come off as cocky on stage because every time I got up the mic, I'd be like, oh, this is exciting. This is like
It's
adrenaline.
fun.
It's
Yeah.
fun. It's super fun. And then someone in the crowd were like, they said a cuss word, but they were like, "Boy, are you crazy?" And I was like, "No, this is fun." Like, And then I got like these business mentors where I went to a mastermind, and they said this really pivotal statement. When you're a man of faith and you're in servant, humble leadership, you're being selfish if you don't serve others with the talents that you were blessed.
Yeah.
And then that's when it dawned on me. I'm like, I've been doing this real estate stuff for 3 years, and I know I have this talent. And there's been a bunch of signs that God was telling me, like, I need you to start using your talents for my kingdom. I need you to serve others with your talents. And I took that. I was like, okay, that means I got to teach other people how to communicate and how to eventually also become public speakers. Because I still am in the journey of public speaking and like becoming a paid public speaker. But in terms of communication, like the actual foundation, the skill set of communication, like I've been doing that since I was like freaking. Humans have been doing that since they were born. But I've been doing it intentionally to master it since I was 6. Like I've gone career in sales, I've gone, college and all these different presentations. Everywhere I'm communicating, like being that little 6-year-old boy, like translating all the documents from Spanish to English, communicating with different people all the time. So it's like I really feel confident that I could teach others the foundational skill sets of communication. And it's really niche because not many people are doing it. There's some big guys that are doing it, but not many.
No, dude, I enjoy it. Like, it's funny because for me, I feel like this is another gift. I used to compete in motocross, and one time I fell, and I hit the right side of my head in the back, and then I started losing my vision in my left eye. So now I wear glasses. But every time I do any sort of speaking, I don't get nervous. Like, yeah, the first like 5 minutes before like I walk in or like prepare or whatever. But then I don't get nervous because I can't see anybody. So it's like I feel like it's just me. It's like when they say that you gotta imagine people like underwear. I'm like it's like it became like my superpower. I can't see crap, so I feel like I'm just talking to myself. And but dude, no, I agree with you. I think communication, talking to people, influencing. You know, if you think about the most influential people, they're like that. I went to see Ed Milet one time. I was in his entrepreneurship program, and he came to Utah.
Phenomenal.
Dude, freaking great speaker. And one of the things that he said, he's like, you want to know who are the most influential people? He said, they are evangelists. And then he showed a picture of a bunch of different people. And I want to read the definition of evangelist. And I'm not just talking about faith-wise and preaching the gospel, which is very important. But I'm talking a person who seeks to convert others by preaching a message or preaching a cause. And think about like your favorite role models or like people that you really look up to. And same thing in my end. A lot of these guys or girls, they are evangelists. They're always preaching something. They preach a purpose, a mission, an objective. And I truly believe that most influential people, and if you truly want to have impact in the world, you got to become good at communicating.
Yeah.
You got to become good at speaking. You got to become good at having an idea and how you can influence people so they can feel the same way that you feel about it and they can act on that idea. And the cool thing is that, and this is something that in one of our calls with Ed Milet, he said, oh, where'd you go? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, yeah. In one of the calls that he said, and I was on a Zoom time with him with one of our groups, and he said, guys, the key to communication is not that people have to believe you, is that people have to believe that you believe it. And it really stuck with me. Because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to make people believe me, but I got to make them believe that what I'm saying, I believe it to be true. Because that's contagious. And if they see my conviction, they'll be like, all right, this dude has something, and he's so convinced, I'm going to give it a try. Maybe he's onto something. And that's how you start influencing people. It's really cool how it works. So you do online mentoring, I would assume, right? Like online coaching with communications and everything. You have clients you're working with and whatnot.
Yeah, so we are starting to roll out the plan to release online mentoring coaching because we made the pivot to building this business and this public speaking and communication business like less than 60 days ago. So like we've been like moving fast. Like we've been hosting master classes. We did a Instagram social media series of 25 keys to mastering communication.
That's great.
We did a master class, and right now the next step, I haven't even released it to everyone, but so you're one of the first few people to hear it, is I'm doing an in-person workshop on the art and principles of communication. So I'm gonna be teaching it in person at an art studio, covering like the mechanisms, the techniques,
Where at?
like that. Here in Orange County, California.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah, so that's the next step, and from there, after that, that's when we're gonna start offering like coaching services.
No, the online business is a whole new like ball game. I like in person stuff, but I've done the online thing, and it's very profitable if you know how to do it. I remember my first month, I put $1,000 in ads, and I got 15 grand back that I closed in sales. And then my second month, it was like for 3 months, I think I did like 35 grand, and I only spent. No, I think in 4 months, and I spent about 8 to 9 grand in ads, and it was 36 grand in return.
There we go.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
But it's like
I'm interested. I'm excited to like head down that.
It's a good skill set to have.
Because I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so it's like real estate was amazing. I had success in it, but it's like it went back to that statement of like, God bless me with these talents, so it's my responsibility to serve others.
Yeah. So well, let's do like a whole pivot on this, Eliam.
Yeah. Let's do
Before we started the episode, you were talking about your girl.
it.
Yeah, that's enough with communication. Let's talk about men-to-men stuff now. What happened? What's going on there? Your dating life, Eliam?
My dating life, man. I've been single for about, I think, December of 2023. So like what? Like a year and a half? A year
I
and a
guess you've been single and ready to mingle for a minute.
No, not ready to mingle. I was ready. I was definitely mingling last year, but not this year. This year, God told me a really important at a service. He made this, and I'll get back to the girlfriend. But he made this statement. A preacher said, "A successful marriage is built off of two people having successful single seasons." And
Mm.
it dawned on me. I was like, "Well, I've had successful seasons. I was in a relationship, but I've also had single seasons. But I've never had a successful single season where I was single and successful and just focused on my mission." So like that's kind of like what I'm up to in 2025, where it's like I'm not dating. I committed to sobriety and purity for the entire year.
I saw that, dude. Congratulations.
Challenge, definitely. It's tempting every no. It's not.
You haven't drank for 2 years?
No, 2 years I haven't drank.
Were you like pretty big into drinking or what?
Dude, I was big into drinking, like college, that
Really?
lifestyle, and yeah, it was tough.
Well, let's talk about that, dude. Because and again, it's not just women or girls in general, but I went through a similar phase. Last year is the year that, and I've said this multiple times. I started drinking, mushrooms, doing stuff with chicks that I was literally not invested at all, but I was just playing with them. And like, I don't mind saying it because it's part of my mistakes, But a lot of this stuff is because I wasn't very mature with it. I would say that, yeah, I want a relationship, I want to get married at some point and everything, but my fruits did not show that at all.
Yeah.
Like my words and my fruits and decisions were completely disaligned. And it wasn't until November, December that I had a huge awakening and God literally took everything away from me. And like, I realized that I needed to stop sinning because I was sinning a lot. And I needed to go back to my foundation and the basic principles of, what, I gotta align my actions with my words, and dude, it's been freaking awesome. And now I finally, I think my actual like, because for me it was like being emotionally available for a girl and like actually connecting, and that was in 2023, and then I got cheated on, and that like my brain just completely went into like, all right, survival mode, screw these girls, and now I'm never gonna share anything about me, so I can keep control, and they're gonna open up to me, but I'm not gonna give them the opportunity to get to know me. And dude, like I had to change that, because I was not connecting at all. And now it's like I'm finally going out with this girl from Texas, and dude, he's so freaking exciting because I finally feel that I'm like emotionally mature and I can truly connect with someone, and I'm doing it the right way. But it took so much freaking work.
Took a lot of work, a lot of like shadow work, a lot of shadow work that
A lot of just, I mean, a lot of just self awareness and realizing, what I did was wrong. That's the reality. And completely honest with you, dude, I feel like even last year I was very lustful. And that's something that I always talk about with guys. I'm like, dude, if you can think with this head and not that head, you're good. And
you're chilling,
a
yeah.
man that can control his lust, he can achieve anything. Because that's the reality. Girls are more emotionally and guys are more driven sexually or physically, whatever. But if as a guy you can control that, that makes you a powerful man because now you're thinking straight and you have more control over the things that you're passionate about. I mean, your passions as a natural being in general, like your human needs. And it has made a huge difference in my life.
Huge difference, huge
You
difference.
know?
I credit a lot of my success and accomplishments that I'm getting now to purity, to sobriety, to like
Yeah, pure. I
leaving
think purity, dude. That's the word.
from leaving relationship. Purity has been a really prominent thing, and have you ever read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill?
I have it. I haven't read it.
Okay, it's like a podcast. I always recommend listening to the Audible on YouTube. It's like a podcast. Essentially, it's like Napoleon Hill having a podcast
With the devil. Yeah.
and the devil was telling Napoleon Hill all his secrets on how he manipulates people, how he takes control of humanity, and it's essentially by controlling their mind, by influencing their mind, not necessarily by giving them what they want, but it's like giving them what they think they want. So like
Yeah.
the devil has all these different tricks, and when I finally read that book, that's when like I really like woke up. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize how stronghold that the devil had on me, from like self pleasure, masturbation, freaking lust, not being loyal, from like obsessive drinking,
Also, you weren't like you did like a 180 in your life then.
I would say, yeah, I mean, you could say, yeah, I would say, yeah, 180. 180 definitely.
Like, I mean, now, like, you stopped doing all this stuff, or
Yeah,
I mean,
stop doing all that stuff. Like, I
yeah.
haven't freaking self pleasured in over a year. I haven't drank alcohol in 2 years. I committed to purity, like, this year, in terms of, like, from, like, sexual pleasures and, like,
Dude, it's an important thing, dude. Like, and that I'm so glad you brought it up because that's something that I really wanted to talk about. And he goes through the same way of like not just communication, but building strong men, because we live in a society right now. And I always say this: everything that's going on, everything bad that's going on with society, I blame men. Why? Because if you have a team and the team is not performing, who do you go to? The leader. The leader responsibility for the performance of the team. What's the role of the men? To provide, to protect, to guide, and to lead. If a family's failing, if a family's not getting closer to God, if something that's it's not going on, who's the leader? The dude. Okay, what's going on with the dude? A lot of these guys are far from God. A lot of these guys, they don't have confidence. A lot of these guys are out of shape. A lot of these guys are not making enough money. A lot of these guys are very lustful. They're sinning a lot. They're not following God's commandments. A lot of these guys, they're not pure. A lot of these guys, they're not going to control their thoughts or their passions or their lust. And it's pretty sad, because then we see women and like they want to be boss and all this stuff, but like just the reality of it is that, and this might sound bad, it's just the truth. A lot of these women that they want to be boss and lead, they like things not end up working out because that's not their role. And yeah, they might be able to like make it through whatever. But I've talked to so many women that are like boss babes or whatever you want to call it, and I ask them one on one, I'm like, what do you want? Or what is they truly want? And it's always 100%. They always tell me, Ben, I want to be provided, protected, and somebody that guides me. I don't want to do this. And it's because men were more likely to take up on pressure, responsibility, assignment, obligation, and taking care of people. So I agree with you, dude. And now I think that our generation, especially people our age, because you're 26, right? 27?
24.
24. I don't know, for some reason I thought you were older. But we're the same. I'm going to be 26 this year. And a lot of our generation, they're playing freaking Fortnite or like the only fulfilling thing going on.
Yeah, I
It's
was in
going.
that world, dude. I was in the world of like playing Fortnite, obsessive drinking.
They went where you were before. Like that's a perfect example, and where I was before too, because I'm in the same boat. And that's why people like you and me, that it's not we're talking from this place of like, look how amazing and perfect. No, dude, imperfect people help imperfect people. You're called to serve the person you once were. And he's stepping into your purpose. He's turning your mess into your message, which is exactly what you're doing.
That's a good one. Turning your mess into your message.
There's a reason why the word message is inside the word message. There's a reason for it. You cannot spell message without mess.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me, dude. Like suicidal, freaking low self-esteem, being by myself, nobody gives a crap about me. I was super soft and sensitive emotionally. I come from a messed up family, divorce, all these different things. And I'm pretty good at helping people because I can relate. I can understand because I went from being that to what I am today, which I'm just getting started. But I know what it takes to grab somebody completely regular and messed up to someone exceptional and doing exceptional things, and that God is working through me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
100%. What comes to mind right now, remember that phrase like Andrew Tate said, like he received a message or an email from someone that wanted to like kill himself, and he said, before you kill yourself, I want you to get a 6-pack first and then let me know. So I have like a similar saying, like whenever I see like any buddies or people that I meet that like are going through like a dark period of time, I'm like, look, commit to 90 days of like no masturbation, no sexual pleasures, anything like that, and let me know after how clear you think afterwards. And like the feedback, because I've seen it myself, just 3 months of committing yourself to like just either sobriety or just one vice that you're not gonna entertain or take on, completely like changes your life, because it was that little milestone. It was like,
dude,
hey, let me commit to 90 days of no
you know the funny thing is that is not just being disciplined, which yeah, I'm totally for it. Like it's such a huge important part, but is that all those things we're truly sinning, and those things gets us farther from God. And that's when we become disconnected and we start dying spiritually from inside. And then we want to die outside because we don't have that spiritual connection. You know, so at the end of the day, it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual game. It always starts spiritually. You know, and there's a reason why we have commandments. There's a reason why we have guidelines. There's a reason why we have books and scriptures and all these different advices that we have from past prophets and apostles and all these different things, because they're true, like they matter, you know. And sinning, it waits on you. Like sinning kills people.
It's always around the corner. It's always lurking.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. And again, and even though there's some people that are like, but I don't want to believe in God, or I'm not. Well, dude, look around you. There's so much evidence that there is a God. There's so much evidence that the universe, our bodies, like even sin. Like, dude, when I was sitting a lot last year and I just felt dead. I felt human. I truly felt human. And I remember in November, December, God told me like a bunch of promises that I had for my life. But he asked me two things. Ben, I need you to clean yourself and purify your heart. And that's when I'm like, all right, I'm going to make like one. Dude, I even stopped cursing. Like I went to the complete extreme of like, I'm even going to change the way I speak and the way I communicate. Going back to communication.
Right, going back to communication. No, that's powerful because like we have like a similar path that we both have gone through. Like you said in 2023, like there was a season where like God just took everything away from you. Right? You said that, and like for me,
last year, bro, 2024.
Oh, 2024.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, it was early 2023. Like going back to like the girlfriend part, where it's like I just reflected and I have all this awareness of myself. It's like the results that I have been declaring, the results, the goals I've been going after, like the results aren't there. Like what is wrong? Like what's going on? Like what's wrong? Like what am I doing? And then that's when just his voice just started getting louder. Where it's like right before I started losing everything, like my money, my relationships, my sanity, my health. That's before like I committed to sobriety from alcohol first. And I was so frustrated and anger because it's like, God, I chose the healthy path. Like I got rid of alcohol. Why are you now taking this money away from me? You're taking these business away from me. You're taking relationships away from me. And I was like so upset because it's like now I'm going through this dark time and I just got rid of the one thing that would keep me afloat, that would keep me sane. And it was so tempting to always try to go back to it, but I was like, no, I was like, I can't go back. It's off the table. It's off the table. So it's like when you commit to sobriety or purity, now you gotta face your problems head on straight. There's no hiding from it. There's no shortcuts. There's no cheating or anything like that. Now you gotta face all the problems and that darkness, like with you and God. Like you just gotta face them on.
You gotta pay for it. You know,
yeah, you gotta pay for it.
You gotta feel the pain, because pain drives change. And if you don't feel bad, if you don't feel that bitter, dark moment, you will go back to it. Like, dude, for me, like I was talking with my best friend Hunter. He's from Texas, so we're on a trip a couple weeks ago. I just got back from Texas on Sunday. I'm actually going back again next week, but we're talking, and I was just bawling, crying to him because I'm like, Hunter, I cannot go back because I do not want to go and experience again the weight of my sins and the pain that I felt, because I started realizing that I failed to my purpose, that I failed to God. And that weight it was eating me alive inside. But I needed to experience that because pain changed me. And even though, dude, I was freaking suicidal. It was very dark. I was by myself. But I needed that. I needed to suffer. I needed to feel the consequences of my decisions.
Yeah.
You know, so I had a thought. I completely forgot what I was going to say.
Feeling that pain of like the weight of your sins, because like I'll be completely honest, like even though I completed 2 years of sobriety, like yesterday, like I was on the verge, like I even poured like a little shot, and I was like, just to like, because I was like, why this
You drink it?
Huh? No, I didn't drink it.
Yeah, if you drink, bro, I'm gonna fly to Orange County and I'm gonna slap you and then come back.
No, I didn't drink it. I'm creating this video right now, and it's not a video no more. It's more like a post of like telling people my sobriety story, like my sobriety story.
Dude, you should speak about that more often, bro.
Yeah, then I'm gonna start.
You should speak about these more often. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love the communication thing, but you got to tell a story of why you want to help people communicate. And this is like the perfect story of like, hey, dude, this is what like weak men do. I was doing this, and this is why communicating is so effective, because you can share your story, your message, and you can help a lot of people do that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I will. That's why it's like this post, and it was the first time, because like I'm being vulnerable. I'm sharing my sobriety story. And as I'm sharing this story, I can't just share like, oh my goodness, like it's so happy and dandy, like it's
It's
amazing,
not.
I'm sober. I was
Yeah.
like, no, dude, it was anger, it was frustrating, and that's how it was when I was making this video. I was like, I gotta like feel the emotions again. I was like, yesterday I was like in my prayer closet just crying. I'm like, God, like how do you want me to say this message? Like because all I feel is anger and frustration because that's how sobriety has felt. But at the same time, it's been the biggest blessing in my life. Like I have my health now. I'm closer to you. My fitness is amazing. My business is I'm walking in purpose now. Like, you know, so it's like it was so conflicting. And then yesterday I just poured it out. I was like, why did this like, you know, like trying to get the message, like why did this little substance, this little liquid thing like, you know, cause so much pain? Like this little thing.
Yeah.
And like it was just reminding myself of like this little thing could set me back 2 years and it's not worth it.
Yeah. And dude, you know, it's the biggest thing. Um, it's literally keeping your standards and not giving the devil an inch to go down. Because the devil doesn't work in like big things one at a time. Like let's say you've been sober for 2 years, that you're gonna go out and you get drunk and hammered and do all the. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But it's like a tiny shot one day, and then the next week could be a full shot, and then the next week or 2 months after that or whatever, be like, you know what? I'll just have a beer. I'll just do this, and then he slowly but progressive and consistent drags you to hell. And a lot of people, they think that he's gonna start with a big change, but it never starts like that, dude. It always starts with the small decisions that we make. And this dude, he's been doing this for years, bro. For years, thousands of years. He's a very smart guy.
Smart guy, intelligent.
But we're truly in a spiritual war. And I want to circle back to what you just mentioned about purity. Because, dude, I remember last year, I was trying to do everything by myself. And even though I was very God aware and conscious, you know, but I was messing up with girls. I was just focused on making money, on fighting, and everything just burned in, and I just felt that the doors in my life, they were just hard to open, for some reason. I don't know why. But then when I got clean, when I got pure, and God was like, dude, you're looking for all these things, I'll give them to you if you seek my kingdom first. Like, seek my kingdom, let's do it the right way, focus on your purpose, focus on your mission, and everything you want will come to you. And I recommitted to it, and I'm like, I'm gonna start relaunch the podcast, like actually provide value, give everything away for free. I'm gonna preach the gospel every single day in my church, serve callings. Like, dude, I give money, I give so much money away, to people. I'm always giving, and I started doing that, dude, and actually seeking His kingdom and doing it the right way. Every single door that I've wanted opened. My video, dude, even my content. I was making fun of like, I don't mind saying, but I was making fun of like the LGBTQ community and trans people and gay people, all this stuff on my Instagram, and it went super viral. But I was driving so much hate, and God was like, I need you to change your content. I was like doing entertaining stuff, and God was like, I need you to change your content. And I'm like, all right. I changed my content, and my account even blew up even more. Dude, I found my business partner quit last year, and I was like in such a dark spot. And then I cleaned all this stuff. I met this other guy. Now we're living together. We're going to move together to St. George. We got this apartment. And dude, this dude is like the level of accountability of how we push each other. We fight together. We make money together. We train together. We go to church. We do everything. Like, I've always wanted kind of like that Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, Jake Paul, Logan Paul type of thing. Dude, it's freaking dope. I met this girl. Like, everything. I'm even with money, dude. Like, I got into like sales, like the highest sales you can do, where a deal now get paid about 7 to 30 grand per deal. In 1 week in Texas, we got 3. And I'm like, dude, even the money is like flowing and opportunity, and like, bro, like, it's insane. I'm going to Hawaii for my brother's wedding, and I'm flying first class for like, I got like this huge connection with this dude that I'm not even paying a close amount of money of what people pay for first class. And all this stuff is just being exponentially increasing. It's just so cool once you actually get clean and pure, how doing life with God and follow His commandments and doing His way rather than my way, it just makes life just way easier. Just way easier.
Yeah, super easy, and because I see that, because when I powerfully like chose and pivoted out of real estate, within like 4 days, God was just like opening up like a bunch of doors like, down the route of public speaking and communication and all these things. He was just started opening door after door, left and right. And I'm like, wow, like, and I freaking did this real estate thing for 3 years straight.
What were you doing? Just like you were a realtor?
I was wholesaling and flipping. I was wholesaling houses and flipping, and I got a lot of success from it. I definitely got some wins from it.
Did you make good money?
Yeah, I made some money. I definitely made some money, but with building a business, all of that money, it's like I just invested it back into the business because I was so ego driven. It's like, oh, this is the business.
What was your? Because I know that game a lot. What was your like biz commission in one house?
The highest since wholesaling, the highest wholesale fee I made on my own was 40,000. As a
That's
team,
good.
it was like 72,000. But on average, it was anywhere between about 10,000 to about 15,000. But
That's
those are the
good.
big pops, yeah.
What was your biggest month in houses?
Biggest month. I never got the business to a stability where it's producing every month. But I guess the biggest month would be like when I did do the $40,000 deal.
Okay.
Yeah, it never ended up being like a stable. Like I could predict every single month how much I make. Cause some months in wholesaling, like you're in a drought, but then all the deals stack up on a different month.
How'd you find the leads?
The leads, I would find them off of Zillow, Zillow.com, or I would end up outreaching to like realtors, like real estate agents, like realtors. So I reach out to them for like off-market opportunities.
Also, you were just doing like houses that were just good condition. They were already in the market for sale, whatever.
No, most of them were distressed. They either were distressed or the seller was motivated enough to sell at a discount.
Do you do foreclosures?
Did I do foreclosures? I didn't do a foreclosure deal.
Dude.
I did get like some foreclosure leads. They were crazy.
Foreclosures are money.
Yeah.
I I mean I got into it and I don't want to talk a lot because it's a very unknown, untapped market, and I'm opening the whole market here in Utah. And dude, I'm dealing with my competition are like realtors and like guys that just went from nothing to like try to sell houses, and it's just a piece of cake. Because my expertise is sales, door to door sales, just sales in general, but also just dealing with objections, rejection, overcoming all these different things, building trust. And I'm like, dude, it is so fun because all these guys, they have like a lot of these guys, no personality to build a trust with whoever's at the door. But because that's what I've done, it's like so easy because I can just stand out like right away from all these people. So it's cool, dude. And Hunter and I, he was the number one in solar that we were at before. And dude, solar is like the hardest sell you can make. Is you gotta build the pain. With this, people already have the pain. So all you gotta do is be friends with them and like build trust and
I already know
expertise.
what you're going through. Yeah. It's like I already know
Hundred
what you're
percent.
going through. The data says it all. So like, what's up?
So, dude, I really enjoy it. I like it a lot.
Are you guys wholesaling like foreclosures or flipping them? What are you guys doing?
Yeah. We have a whole team: Dallas, Idaho, Ohio, Utah. It's like the thing is, dude, his uncle, they pay him like 40 grand to be in his mentorship. We got in because it's his uncle. And I always told him, like, dude, you're sitting in a gold mine. Like his uncle, dude, last month, I think in January, he made $245,000 one month.
Who's his uncle's name?
Grant.
Grant Cardone?
No. But dude, he's like Dallas is like the mecca when it comes to wholesaling, flipping, and everything because he's like the market is insane. But even there, dude, we're kicking butts. Like in 6 days, we got 3 signed, closed, signed contract,
Ready to go.
ready to go. Like, dude, we got this house for like 13 grand, market value 260,000.
You guys locked one up for 13 grand?
13 grand because the dude just didn't want it to. He's like, I owe 13 grand in mortgages and everything. And he's like, just pay me the money. You guys pay for it. We'll get the house under a contract, and just give me a couple of grand so I can move out or whatever.
Did you guys end up doing like as a subject to deal?
I don't know like all that stuff specifically. That's why we have a team that I just get the lead, get them to sign the contract, and then we have another guy that they do the whole what's it called, the
Transaction coordination.
yeah, but what do they call it, the
escrow?
what?
The escrow?
No, it's when they sell it, the
disposition.
disposition, the dispo. Yeah, the disposition. Yeah.
Someone else would dispo the deal.
Yeah. So for me, dude, I just get the leads, get the signed contract, and then I send it to these guys, and we all get paid the same.
Alright,
So they're juicy deals, bro.
that's good to hear, bro. That's good to hear.
But it's good. I mean, that's funny that you were doing that. It's were you doing it in California?
I was doing it in California, so it was definitely a tough market. I was doing it in just two local primary market, a primary and a secondary market I had. It was out here in the desert. And when I was building it, like I never had any ambitions or like God never gave me a vision to grow it outside of that. And I'm a big like visionary type of person. Like I'll get discernment from God, vision. Like okay, like what is it you want me to do? And towards the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, is like God just kind of gave me like eventually he's like this is not what I made you to do. Like
Fully.
Huh?
No, I agree. You know,
This
like
is not what I made you to do.
yeah.
He's like because I kept running into walls or roadblocks in the real estate business. And this year I had this master blueprint plan again, like how am I going to scale this company? I'm going to onboard people, hire team members, partner up with my guy. I'm going to do all these different things. And then when the time came, when it was time to scale, and now I'm going to up my marketing expenses, I'm going to start, pouring into
Oh, but you were building a company there.
I was building a company.
Oh, I guess that's way different. Okay.
It was time. It was time to just start building it up, and then like it dawned on me like I have various different signs where it's like
Yeah, if you're the one running the thing, dude, legal stuff, you can get sued. Like, there's so much that goes into it. Like, there's a lot of paperwork, back end work when it comes to it. Yeah.
so much work, and I was ready to do it, but then something happened. I was visiting my parents, visiting my mom, and there was some family like drama or family problems that were going on at the time, and a lot of things were like triggering me. Like different areas of my life were like triggering me. Like the results again. I was like, I've done the work. I was like, how is this? Like, why is this happening again? And then I end up going into like a dark tunnel in my mind. I'm like, you know what? Like, how am I responsible for all of this? Like everything that's happening in my life right now. Like God, how am I responsible for all of this? And I just had the feeling in my heart, in my gut, like God's just talking to me. He's like, because you're forcing something to happen that I didn't make you to do.
Money.
Boy, you keep trying to go down this path when I'm telling you to go down this path of public speaking and communication because that's the gift I gave you. That's what I blessed you with. And you don't need to know how the plan looks like. You don't need to know how the blueprint is. All I need you to do is just surrender and trust and have faith that this is the path I want to walk down. And that's it. And from then on forward, I'm like, all right, God, like I trust you. And like that moment, I was like, I'm leaving everything.
Dude, it's crazy how many doors can open when you just literally send it. And that's been like the same thing with me. Like Hunter and I, like it's cool, dude. Because like I feel like every man needs a brother. My whole life for like 24 years, it's just been me taking risk and everything. And I'm like, oh, dude, I don't want to do. But having a brother is like, dude, we'll send it. Worst case scenario, we go sell it together. Like I'm like, holy crap. Like our incomes, they're the same. Like we live together, sleep together, like do everything together, bro. Like freaking, not sleep in that regard, you know what I'm saying? But you know, like having somebody to go to war with, dude, it like empowered me in this way of like, dude, we're gonna kick butts, dude. God and the two of us, you can't compete, you know. And dude, it's been great because it's literally a faith thing and miracles. If you actually think about it, when do miracles happen? When it's unrealistic, when it's unlikely, when it's unreasonable, when it's impossible. God doesn't work in the realistic area, in the likely stuff to happen, in the possible things to happen, or the reasonable things to happen. He works outside the box. And a lot of the times we wonder, why am I not seeing miracles in my life? But I'm like, dude, because miracles work when it's unreasonable, when you don't know how it's going to make it work, when you don't know what's next in life, when you just got to send it. And again, I'm not just talking about making dumb decisions and just sending it in everything like YOLO. No, I'm talking about if you truly feel it in not your heart or your mind, but your gut, in your spirit. It's a spiritual experience and you feel called to do it, freaking send it, and the miracles happen after your test of faith. And that's something that a lot of people, they live an average, reasonable, likely, possible life. And then they complain why they don't see miracles. And I'm like, dude, everything is predictable about your life. Everything is predictable. God is unpredictable. God works. A lot of the time we see like in our radar screen, but God works off our radar screen and the things that we cannot even imagine. The best things in my life happen of things that, dude, I would have never thought I would be doing. You know, and that's the problem with the human brain, that we want to know everything. We want to know how, the timing, when, the specifics, how it's going to happen and everything. Dude, it's annoying.
It's like I knew everything. I knew the blueprint. I knew exactly what step I needed to take to grow this company to $1 million. I knew exactly. But when it comes to this public speaking and communication business, it's like, I don't know, but this is the vision, this is the purpose you gave me. I told God, I was like, as long as you just keep revealing the next step for me, I'll take it.
Dude, it's freaking awesome. Have you heard the story of Gideon
Gideon.
in the Old Testament?
Vaguely, yes. Refresh me on it.
Okay, so dude, I freaking love it when it comes to faith. I was talking with Hunter about this the other day. So you got this guy that he's like doing farming and stuff. I mean, I'll just pre-quote a little bit of it. It's like paraphrase it on my own terms. Pretty sure like the actual facts is a little bit different, but he's kind of like the summary of it. So anyway, he was doing a lot of farming, and an angel showed up, and he's like, "You mighty man, you will deliver Israel from the Midianites." And this dude is like, "Dude, I'm like the lowest in my family. I'm like doing this work that is like farming, that he cannot get lower than that. What are you talking about?" So the angel gives him a lot of signs that he's chosen, that he's a mighty man. Long story short, he tells them, "You're gonna free Israel from the Midianites." That at that time the Midianites were taking over Israel and everything. So anyway, so he gathers an army. And they were fighting the Midianites. There were like 135,000 soldiers. So he gathered a whole Israel, and it was like 30,000 soldiers. And he's like, all right, we're like outnumbered, but I feel like God called me. I don't know how we're going to do it, but let's freaking go. And then God tells him, Gideon, your army is too big. And Gideon's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, we're already outnumbered. And he's like, no, it's too big. Tell every man that is shy, insecure, and has fear to go home. So he tells everybody that feels that way to go home. And about, I think like 20,000 people left. And now it's like 10,000 people are like, all right, now we're more outnumbered than before. But you know what? I trust God, is testing my faith, but we're going to do it. And God is like, Gideon, your army's too big. He's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, I'm already outnumbered. Like, you caught my army again. Like, what do you mean? He's like, too big. And God tells him, take your army, go to the lake or the river and tell them to drink water. And you're going to divide them in two groups. Whoever kneels and drinks water with his tongue or mouth is going to go home. And whoever stands and drinks water with his hands, they're going to stay. Only 300 men end up staying. So now you have an army of 300 people versus 130,000. And in the video that I saw, it would say Gideon was like, God needed the odds and wanted the odds to be so bad against us that for Israel, the only thing that could actually deliver us was him. So what we would not even think that it was our own strength, but that we needed to rely on him because there was nothing else to rely on. Not in my strength. I'm outnumbered. This is unrealistic. This is unreasonable. There's no way in heaven I can make this by myself. Long story short, they end up killing everybody, and they won the battle. And just because of that principle of like, hey, you don't know what I'm capable of, but I'm going to show you. I'm a king. I'm the God of this universe. I created everything. But if you just believe in me and you just trust what I'm saying and you just have faith in my promise, dude, I'll do these mighty miracles and I'm going to use you if you just believe. It's a beautiful story.
Yeah, chills, yeah.
It's a beautiful story, bro.
But thank you for refreshing me on that because I've read Gideon and I briefly just read it.
I'm going to send you that video. Actually, let me just do it right now, dude.
Send me the video of Gideon because I heard it also preached at church like over this past month. About like the whole like the 300 men that drink water with their mouth with their hands, and it just completely went over me until you brought it up again.
Dude, it's one of the best stories in the Bible I've heard.
That's you just spoke some message to me right now because that's how God speaks to me. Every time I hear a message like 3 different times, like from like 3 different sources or places, that's when like I wake up like, okay, God, you're telling me something here because.
All right, bro, get your crap together. You gotta start listening.
Like yesterday, I ended up getting some news about like some investment deal that it went south, and now it's like now my back is even more against the wall, and it's like that whole story that you said. Like God needs the odds to be so big, so the miracle could just like be that more.
Dude, it is. The biggest things in my life, the biggest miracles have been when my life was at the edge. When I didn't have anything else but to trust and have faith in him. And this is the funny thing. He's always shown up in my life. He's the clutchest guy in the universe I know. When people talk about players that are clutch, well, let me tell you about my God. Let me tell you about this guy right here. He's actual clutch. And a couple months ago, last month, I made the decision because I was like, I felt like I was way too comfortable. I felt like I was way relying on my skills and myself. And I'm like, no, dude, I need to put my back against the wall again and make these crazy decisions that I need to trust him. That I'm like, God, I need you, bro. It's like I'm putting faith in everything. And I started talking to Hunter about it, and that's when our life completely flipped and dude in everything. Just because we're living a life by sight, by faith, not by sight. And if you read everything about the scriptures, dude, that's how they lived. It's not that they knew everything. Look at Moses. Hey, dude, you're gonna deliver us like from the Egyptians. How? How do you want to do it? Like, what are you talking about? You're gonna do it. You're a mighty man. This is who you are. And he's like, but dude, like I was the son of the Pharaoh that killed all these people. You know, I created the deaf, the mute, the blind. You know, I'm God and I'm gonna use you. And then he gave him the stiff and like the whole like stick, whatever. And I imagine Moses, dude. I imagine Moses when he was in the lake or like the river, and he was like, "What do I do?" Like the Pharaoh is there, and he's like, "Put your stake and put it in the water." All right, bet. Put this thing, and then blood everywhere. Or when they were running away, and he didn't know about the Red Sea that he was gonna part, but he was just obeying, trusting that somehow God will come up with the how. And I imagine like looking at this huge sea, and he's like, "All right, what the heck do we do? Like I believe in you, but what do we do?" And God was like, "Lift up your stake or whatever the name is." He lifted up, boom. That's the power of this God. That's the power of the God that we believe in. And imagine if we have the faith to see those types of miracles in our life today. I truly believe that we live way below our means, brother. There's a lot of resources that God has placed in our life that we're not using. We're not using. We're living way a very human life.
You gotta be so like the word that comes to mind is like you gotta be so like I've entered this phase where it's like I don't care how crazy and delusional that I sound, but this is the vision that God gave me.
Yeah.
If I sound delusional and crazy and like absurd to you, I don't care because I know I'm freaking connected with God and this is the vision, the purpose He gave for me, and I know I'm not crazy.
And dude, for whoever's listening to this, and if you can relate to this, that you're called to do something more, that you know you're different, that you feel that this is something that you can relate, remember this 99.999% of people, your family, your friends, and people that you walk with every single day on the street or work or your job, they live an realistic, average, normal, likely, certainty life. And if you're called to live a unreasonable, unrealistic, delusional life, it's very, you gotta connect with the right people because most people, they will not get it. And it's okay because you don't want the life that they have. You really don't. Because you can predict every single thing that's gonna happen to them in relationships, money, body, family, everything. And that's something that I've been able to learn because, like, dude, when I explain people my vision, what I do, and my stuff, even to my family, they're like, "Dude, why are you doing this? Why?" I'm like, "I don't know. God told me." Like, I don't explain to myself anymore because I know that most people don't get it. That's fine, and I don't care if they don't get it. But I know that God believes in me. I believe in Him. I'm good, and I have my brother with me, Hunter, and we're good. Yeah. He has to get it. I'm good. You know.
I just had an experience like that. Like I had a meeting with someone earlier this week. And they were telling me about like walking faith, and I'll leave it with this. Like a lot of my answers to his questions, like I don't know, but like God, this is what God told me to do. So it's like,
yeah,
I'll figure it out along the way.
And it takes faith to send it by yourself, even if most people don't get it or you receive opposition.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that rooted in faith over fear.
Yeah, yeah.
Over fear.
I'm glad for you, dude. I'm excited to see what you're gonna do in the next couple of years. I know you're starting with your online, dude. If there's anything I can do to help and the knowledge that I have when it comes to online stuff and whatever, like please use me as a resource for you. And how are you with time? I know you had to leave at 3.
20. Yeah. I mean, like last minute or so.
Okay.
Yeah. 5 minutes.
Well, Eliam, what's something that you want to people to remember about this conversation, and if there's one key takeaway that you can leave them with?
One key takeaway that I could leave them with would be you are the common denominator in all the areas of your life. In every single area.
Say it louder for the people in the back, bro. Say it again.
Say it again. I'll say it again. You are the common denominator of every single area of your life. That means spiritually, financially, family, community, education, health, career, vocation, all of that. You are the common denominator for every single area of your life. But when you pair that up with mastering your communication skills, that's when your areas of your life start improving.
Yeah.
That's when your life start changing. Because if it wasn't for me starting to communicate with God and ingrain myself with faith more instead of pleasure and money, that's when all the other areas of my life started improving, and they could do the same for yours.
Let me ask you this. How did you come to find out or acknowledge or be aware that at the end of the day, you're the common denominator in everything you blame?
Responsibility. It
What
was
happened?
truly embodying responsibility. To get into it briefly here, I'm crafting up this keynote message called Responsibility Comes from Pain. And so often I looked at the traumas that I faced as a kid. I faced a lot of traumas as a kid, from suicides to witnessing murders, from saving my mom multiple occasions in my teenage years, and all these responsibility and
Wow.
pressure kept being pushed onto me, and I associated responsibility with pain. But now I have a new formed relationship with responsibility, because it's not I have to do this, it's I want to do this. I want the pressure. I want the responsibility. I want to be great. So it was that shift from going from the victim conversation of I have to do this that comes with dread and anguish to of no, like I'm responsible. I'm responsible for my past, my present, and future. And God, you blessed me with these skill sets and these talents, so we're going to keep running with it.
Dude, I freaking love that because I had the same awakening a couple of years ago when a lot of girls screwed me over, cheated on and stuff and everything. And I took a big break and I just started thinking, what do all these girls have in common? You know what I realized what they have in common?
It's you.
Yeah.
It's you.
It was me. And it wasn't that I was making them cheat or anything, but I realized that I attracted those experiences and those events at some point in my life through this. Through my faith, through my insecurities, through my doubt, through my thoughts, to how I felt. And I didn't notice. And it wasn't until I started taking full ownership of like everything's my responsibility. I like it or not, the good and the bad, but I can change it. Because if it's in my accountability and responsibility, I can control that. If it's not, I can't control it, and I give power to somebody else, and then I'm like all anxiety and everything, and because I can't control, I can't change it. But if I just take all that, I'm the common denominator, and I'm gonna get better, and I'm gonna change. It just empower me in like a way that I couldn't even imagine. So I freaking love that, dude. And dude, I appreciate it for your time. I hope. I mean, we should run another one at some point
We're
in the
good on
future,
time
but
right here. No, this has been an amazing experience. A pleasure to connect with you deeply. Just having this safe space and preaching God's message.
no,
And
fully,
really
dude.
just, rooted in faith. Iron sharpens iron. God bless you, your family, your brother Hunter, like your business and everything, that you continue to impact more men out there, especially because we do need that. We need men again in our society.
We need strong men. There's a lot of boys,
Strong men, yeah.
but not a lot of men.
And I already went through my boyish years, and it's like that was one last piece of advice I give you. Like a mentor of mine told me, he's a high performance coach. He's like, look, man, like your Prince era is over. Like your Prince era is over. Like your family, your community, they're waiting for you to step up to be the king you're supposed to be. As a prince, you could get away with the childish behavior, no accountability, but you're destined for greatness. So it's like, by when are you gonna step up to be the king that God has designed for you?
Yeah.
For your family, for your community, and for the world.
And I mean, a lot of it comes with time. I don't know, dude. I mean, I feel like I've been pretty aware most of my life, but I did not get my like everything aware and fixed until I turned 25.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Is that like the science thing where it's like
that's like where the brain is fully developed. 25. When it hit me, bro, I'm like, what am I doing? It was funny. But anyway, dude, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, guys. If you found value in Eliam conversations and myself, share it with your friends. Share on your story. Word of mouth is the best powerful way of marketing. If we suck, screw you guys. Don't share anything. But anyway, no, it was a great conversation. I think there's a lot of nuggets in this conversation, and a lot of people are going to benefit from it big time.
100%.
So-
You can find me everywhere on Eliam Fuentes. That's the great part of having a unique name. So
Yeah. Anyway, appreciate you, brother.
of course, brother. Thank you.
Take care. Have a good one.
God
Bye
bless.
bye.